Note for those this evening.
Okay, una nota para el estudio esta tarde.
We will be talking about some subject matter that may not be good for young ears.
Okay, vamos a hablar de ciertos temas que quizás no serían buenos para niños.
Okay, because we are in Revelation chapter 17.
Porque estamos en Apocalipsis capítulo 17.
Okay, and it deals a lot with the word prostitution and whoring.
El material va a cubrir sobre la prostitución y fornicación.
Okay, even though this is the word of God, sometimes you know your children and what they're ready for.
Aunque esto es la palabra de Dios, nosotros como padres sabemos que los niños están listos para oír y que no.
I think you can listen, Evelyn.
Evelyn, yo pienso que puedes oír.
I don't think there's anything that you have not heard just about now. Dealing with the clients you deal with.
Okay.
All righty. Let's turn to Revelation chapter 17, verse 4, slide number 10.
Bueno, vamos a la página 10 en sus pantallas y vamos al capítulo 17 en Apocalipsis, versículo 4.
All right. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet. Shh. Gently. Shh. Put your fingers in your mouth. Put your fingers in your mouth. Go ahead. Revelation 17:4. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and glittered with gold, precious stones, and pearls. In her hand was a gold cup filled with obscene and filthy things produced by her whoring. So as you can see from verse 4,
como pueden ver aquí en el versículo 4,
that some of the subject matter that we're dealing with tonight
varios temas que vamos a discutir
is going to be dealing with filthy things and whoring. Tristan, why is that moved over? Okay. Can anybody bring up the file from last week? Okay, Tristan's working on it. All right, so all right. So we're going to be taking a look at the gold cup filled with obscene and filthy things.
Okay, así que vamos a ver la copa de oro llena de cosas sucias aquí.
Produced by her whoring.
Producidas por su fornicación.
Okay, so let's go on to slide number 11.
Así que vamos a la página 11, por favor.
And turn to Jeremiah 51.
Y vamos a Jeremías 51, versículo 1 al 7.
Tristan, could you please find Jen?
She has Joviana.
Okay. Juan said she's indisposed at the moment. Jeremiah 51, verse 1 through 7.
Jeremías 51, versículo 1 al 7.
And we're going to see this whole gold cup and the prostitution thing.
Y vamos a ver esa copa de oro y la prostitución.
All right, verse 1 through 7.
Versículo 1 al 7.
Jeremiah 51, verse 1 through 7. Adonai says this: Against Babel and those living in Lev Kamai, I will stir up a destructive wind. Against Babel I will send foreigners to winnow her and leave her land empty. They will besiege her from every side on the day of disaster. Let the archer draw his bow. Let him flaunt his coat of mail. Do not spare her young men. Completely destroy her whole army. In the land of Kasdim, the slain will fall, those thrust through by the sword in her streets. Israel and Yehudah are not left widowed of their God, Adonai Sevaot. But the land of the Kasdim is full of guilt before the Holy One of Israel. Flee from Babel. Let each one save his life. Don't perish because of her guilt. For the time has come for the vengeance of Yehovah. He will pay her what she deserves. Babel was a gold cup in the hands of Adonai. It made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank her wine. This is why the nations have lost their senses. So if you look closely at verse 6 and 7,
Así que si pudiéramos ver más,
6 and 7.
más cerca del versículo 6 y 7.
Flee from Babel, let each one save his life. Don't perish because of her guilt. For the time has come for the vengeance of Jehovah. He will repay her what she deserves. Babel was a gold cup in the hands of Adonai. It made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank her wine. This is why the nations have lost their senses. So here we're looking at each person needing to save their own life.
Aquí podemos ver que cada persona necesita que salvar su vida.
What's no Plato descargar el archivo?
What's that?
Hello. No, what's Plato? Not Plato.
No,
Plato.
no puedo descargar el archivo. They can't find they can't get the file.
Oh, did you send the file again? Okay. Tell tell Mary she's got to hit save on her side. Juan.
Excuse me?
Tell Mary she's got to hit save on her side.
On her side?
Yeah. It's in the text area of Skype. Tell Mary.
Okay, Mary, está en donde está el botón del texto. Tiene que ponerle save,
Yes.
donde está el botón save,
And then it'll save on your computer.
y luego va a descargar el archivo en su computadora.
And then the window will come up to say open file.
Y la ventana va a salir donde dice abra el archivo.
Okay.
Open the file.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so back to the study. We always start off with a rough start each week.
Continuando con el estudio.
Can you send it directly to Jessica? Who put it up there? Jessica, you can do the same. It's up in the window in the text area. Okay. So here, the people that are in Babel,
Aquí, las personas que están en Babilonia,
it's saying to each person, leave and save your own life.
le dice a cada persona que salga de ese lugar y salve su vida.
Okay? And also, we see the gold cup here,
Y también vemos esa copa de oro aquí,
because remember in Revelation 17:4,
porque acuérdense que en Apocalipsis 17:4
the Lord shows us that this woman has a gold cup.
el Señor nos está enseñando que esta mujer tiene esa copa.
But as we see, because of our Hebrew roots,
Pero como podemos ver con nuestras raíces hebreas,
we see that this comes from Jeremiah.
podemos ver que esto viene de Jeremías.
Might want to eat one at a time there, being like a man. Okay. And then Jehovah is going to pay Babel what she deserves.
Y Jehová le va a pagar a Babilonia lo que se merece.
And paying what you deserve is not a good thing.
Y pagar lo que te mereces no es una buena cosa. Unless you're
Because-
following the Lord.
No, because, well, this is the point I'm going to make, is that
Okay.
he blesses.
Él bendice,
There's a different understanding.
ese es otro diferente entendimiento.
Blessing and paying is different in Hebrew thought.
La bendición y pagar son diferentes cosas en hebreo, en el pensamiento hebreo.
Okay? See, blessings are a mitzvot,
Las bendiciones son un mandamiento,
okay? But a paying is a whole nother thought
pero,
process.
pero una paga es otro entendimiento.
It's like you having to have to pay back Jehovah yourself.
Es como tener que pagarle a Jehová tú mismo, como darle una recompensa o darle un pago, algo que le debes,
And you can never pay him back.
y nunca le puedes pagar
That's
para
why he
atrás.
made Yom Kippur, where you can have that offering.
Por eso él hizo ese día de expiación donde puedes tener esa ofrenda,
And then there's the other offerings, the Shabbat offerings and the other things.
y hay otras ofrendas como el Shabbat, la ofrenda de Shabbat y otras cosas.
But look at verse 7 again.
Pero vamos a ver el versículo 7 ahora.
Babel was a gold cup in the hands of Adonai. It made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank her wine. This is why the nations have lost their senses. This gold cup
Esa
is
copa de oro es
is something that's going to make you not think properly.
Es algo que no te va a dejar que pienses correctamente.
It's very interesting. I heard a report today.
Es muy interesante. Oí un reportaje hoy día
There's a lot of businesses suffering lately.
que hay muchos negocios que están sufriendo mucho.
There was one grouping of businesses that went up this past quarter.
Había varios negocios en the stock market, you mean?
Well, as in their whole business showed an increase.
Ahí en este reportaje que varios negocios levantaron su valor esta semana.
Was the alcohol making businesses.
Era los negocios que usan el alcohol o producen el alcohol.
And it's called Spirits.
Y se llama Spirits, la compañía.
Okay? They went up 6% this last fiscal quarter.
Subieron un porcentaje de 6%.
So when you're drinking from those things,
Así que cuando estás bebiendo de estas cosas,
you tend to lose your senses.
vas a perder tu sentido.
So this is what is being talked about in Yirmiyahu 51, Jeremiah 51.
Y aquí es lo que está hablando aquí Jeremías, el profeta Jeremías, en
Is
este
that
versículo.
when you're drinking of something that is of evilness,
Que cuando estás tomando algo que se trata de maldad,
who's ever in charge, their opinion is what makes the law.
el que está encargado, la opinión de esa persona es el que hace la ley.
And that way of thinking could change
Y esa manera de pensamiento puede cambiar
with who's ever in charge.
con el que esté encargado.
And here we see the nations have lost their sense. The Goyim
Y-
have lost their sense.
Y aquí podemos ver que las naciones, los goyim, han perdido ese sentido.
I actually just want to check that Jeremiah 51:7. I just want to double check to make sure it's Goyim or
Y aquí el rabino quiere hacer una búsqueda si es goyim, esa
Porque-
palabra para naciones.
one quick second there. Okay. Yeah, the Goyim.
Ujú.
Okay. So it's the Lord is saying here that the Goyim have lost their senses.
Así que aquí dice que el goyim han sido aturdidos, han perdido sus sentidos.
Okay, moving on to
Los
slide
goyim. Okay.
slide number 12.
Vamos a continuar con la página 12.
Let's go to Bereshit, Genesis 30. Shalom, Betsy. Let's turn to Genesis 38, 13, verse 13
Okay.
through 18.
Vamos al libro de Génesis, capítulo 38, versículo 13 al 18.
Genesis 38, verse 13 to 18.
Génesis 38, versículo 13 al 18.
Okay. It says, Tamar was told, your father-in-law has gone up to Timnah to shear his sheep. So she took off her widow clothes, completely covered her face with a veil, and sat at the entrance to Enaim, which is on the way to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah had grown up, but she was not being given to him as his wife. When Yehuda saw her, he thought she was a prostitute because she had covered her face. So he went over to her where she was sitting and said, not realizing that she was his daughter-in-law, come, let me sleep with you. She answered, what will you pay to sleep with me? He said, I will send you a kid from the flock of goats. She said, will you also give me something as a guarantee until you send it? He answered, what should I give you as a guarantee? She said, your seal with his cord and the staff you're carrying in your hand. So he gave them to her, then went and slept with her, and she conceived by him. So you see, prostitution is sometimes trickery.
Así que vemos aquí que la prostitución en veces es engañamiento.
But you also see Yehuda was supposed to give his daughter-in-law his other son.
Pero vemos aquí
marriage.
que Judá le iba a dar a esa mujer su hijo para casarse,
But since he was not following the ways of God,
pero como él no estaba siguiendo las maneras de Dios,
he lied to his daughter-in-law.
él le echó mentiras a su nuera,
And this caused a great big problem.
y esto causó un gran problema,
Because when you don't have the laws of God
porque cuando no tienes las leyes de Dios
and you don't follow those
y
laws
no,
of God,
y no sigues esas leyes de Dios,
then you will have problems.
entonces vas a tener problemas.
And just also a note here,
Y para tomar nota aquí,
when a woman has her head covered and her face fully covered,
cuando la mujer tiene su cabeza cubierta y su cara completamente cubierta,
where only her eyes are being seen,
donde sus ojos pueden ser vistos,
biblically this is a prostitute.
bíblicamente ella es una prostituta.
So when we see this in our world today,
Así que cuando vemos esto en nuestro mundo hoy día,
and we see this in some of the Arab cultures,
y vemos esto en unas culturas árabes,
where they have the women fully covered from head to toe.
donde tienen a la mujer completamente cubierta de la cabeza hasta los pies,
Because they don't treat women properly.
porque ellos no tratan a la mujer
They-
apropiadamente.
They treat women as prostitutes.
Ellos tratan a la mujer como que si fueran prostitutas.
Okay, so moving on to slide number 13,
Continuando con la página 13,
and we're going to go to Revelation 17, verse 5.
ahora vamos a Apocalipsis 17, versículo 5.
Revelation 17, verse 5. You're just a ball of movement and talking all tonight, aren't you? Revelation 17, verse 5. On her forehead was written the name with a hidden meaning, Babel the great mother of whores and of the earth's obscenities. Okay, so as I said earlier, sometimes the wording is not hard.
Así que, como dije anteriormente, que las palabras no son duras
And we should not shy away from teaching our children the Word of God.
y no deberíamos de temer a enseñarle la palabra de Dios a nuestros hijos.
Okay, Betsy. Well, for this particular virus, you should have the myrrh, frankincense and myrrh, and hyssop. And you should use that 3 times a day. And that'll kill this virus. So myrrh, frankincense, and myrrh. So it's a double shot of the myrrh and hyssop. Okay? That's what's killing this virus. You need, as soon as you start feeling it, those 3 oils. Okay, back to the study. So this Babel is a great mother of whores,
Así que esta Babilonia es una gran ramera.
okay, and the earth's obscenities. So
Y
these are 2 big things.
Y las abominaciones de la tierra. Así que estas son dos muy grandes cosas.
This is not a name you want to have on yourself,
Esto no es un nombre que quieres tú en tu cabeza,
because these things will lead to death,
porque estas cosas te van a llevar a la muerte
and ultimately death and separation from the Lord.
y últimamente la muerte y la separación de Dios.
So let's see what this, where this is coming from.
Así que vamos a ver de dónde viene esto.
In Revelation 17:5, this great mother of whores.
Esta escritura aquí, Babilonia la Grande, la madre de las rameras.
Okay, let's go now to slide number 14,
Vamos a la página 14,
Exodus 28, Shemot 28,
Éxodo 28,
verse 36 to 38.
versículo 36 al 38.
Shemot 28, verse 36 to 38.
Éxodo 28, versículo 36 al 38.
You are to make an ornament of pure gold and engrave on it as on a seal, Kadosh La Yehovah. Fasten it to the turban with white and blue on the front of the turban over Aaron's forehead, because Aaron bears the guilt for any errors committed by the people of Israel in consecrating their holy gifts. This ornament is always to be on his forehead, so that the gift for Adonai will be acceptable by him. So you see that Aaron, the priesthood, is supposed to be separated.
Así que podemos ver que el sacerdocio debería de ser separado.
What we're looking at here in Revelation 17:5 is the forehead.
Lo que estamos viendo aquí en Apocalipsis 17:5 es la frente.
On the forehead of this woman here,
En la frente de esta mujer
was written "Great Mother of Whores and Earth's Obscenities."
se llama la madre, tiene el título, la madre de las rameras y las abominaciones de la tierra.
So in Exodus and Shemot 28
Y aquí en Éxodo 28, versículo 36 al
is
38,
what is supposed to be on our forehead.
es lo que debería de estar escrito en nuestra frente.
Because if we're supposed to be a royal priesthood,
Porque si nosotros deberíamos de ser un sacerdocio real
and we're supposed to offer gifts to the Lord in spiritual gifts,
y deberíamos de dar nuestras ofrendas y ofrendas espirituales al Señor.
are we actually doing that?
Actualmente estamos haciendo esto.
Is the body actually doing that?
¿El cuerpo acaso está haciendo esto?
I don't believe they even know what a good spiritual gift is to the Lord.
No pienso que mucho del cuerpo sabe qué es una buena ofrenda hacia el Señor.
You know, we had an event here in the country the other day,
Tuvimos un evento el otro día en nuestro país
and the president swore an oath of office.
el presidente hizo un voto para su oficina
And he swore an oath on 2 Bibles.
y hizo su voto sobre 2 Biblias
To uphold these laws that you find in the Bible.
para sostener o estar encargado de estas leyes.
And he doesn't agree with some of a vast majority of things that are written in the Bible.
Y él no cree en muchas de las cosas que están escritas en la Biblia.
And one of them being homosexuality.
Y una de ellas es la homosexualidad.
I mean, I'm not going to get heavily into it,
No voy a entrar en gran detalle,
but I bring it up for this purpose.
pero lo estoy, estoy viendo esta situación por esta razón.
The people will follow leadership.
La gente va a seguir el liderazgo.
And if a leader is saying that homosexuality is okay,
Si un líder dice que la homosexualidad está bien,
then the people will think it's okay.
entonces el pueblo va a decir
But
que
the
está
opposite,
bien.
was done yesterday also in Russia.
Pero lo opuesto pasó en Rusia.
They outlawed homosexuality.
Ellos pusieron fuera de la ley la homosexualidad
And they called it what it is, sodomy.
y le llamaron lo que actualmente es, que es I don't know how to say that, sodomia,
Sodomia.
sodomía. I'm not sure how you say it.
How do you say that, Julio?
Se dice sodomía, igual.
Sodomía.
Sodomía.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now we compare the 2 scriptures of Revelation 17:5
Ahora comparamos estas escrituras en Apocalipsis 17:5
on this great mother of Babel.
con esa madre que es Babilonia.
On her forehead is written that she's a whore and she has obscenities.
En la frente tiene escrita que es una ramera y tiene las abominaciones de la tierra.
For anybody who's a Bible believing Christian
Para aquellos que son cristianos que siguen la Biblia
or a Torah observant Messianic Jew
o alguien que observa el Torah, que es judío mesiánico
or a Jew,
o un judío,
you are supposed to be set apart for Jehovah.
deberíamos de ser separados para Jehová.
We're supposed to be a royal priesthood.
Deberíamos de ser un sacerdocio
And on our
real.
forehead is supposed to be
y en nuestra frente
this Kadosh la Yehovah.
deberíamos de tener ese título de Aarón, que es separado para Jehová.
Okay? When you can't tell the Christian from the pagan,
Cuando no puedes notar la diferencia entre un pagano y un cristiano,
then when you're offering up prayers to Jehovah,
entonces cuando tú estás ofreciendo esas oraciones a Jehová,
they are not consecrated.
no son consagrados.
Because if you openly disobey,
Porque si tú desobedeces,
and that what is happening in this world today
y lo que está pasando en nuestro mundo hoy día
is setting up the groundwork for what we see in Revelation 17:5.
está poniendo en lugar para los eventos que están pasando aquí en Apocalipsis 17:5.
Then when you get to this part of Revelation,
Entonces cuando llegues aquí a esta parte de Apocalipsis,
then it is simple for this great mother from Babel to misguide people.
entonces es más simple para esta madre en Babilonia para engañar a la gente.
And that it's not just America,
Y
everybody.
no solamente es América,
We're seeing this sin of homosexuality worldwide.
estamos viendo este pecado de homosexualidad mundialmente.
You know where you don't see it?
¿Sabes dónde los mira?
In the communist countries.
En las naciones comunistas.
You don't see it in China.
No miras esto en la
You
China,
don't see it in Russia.
no lo miras en Rusia,
You don't see it in North Korea.
no miras esto en Corea del Norte,
You do not see this particular sin as open as it is here.
y no miras esto, este pecado como lo vemos aquí. How about the Arab countries? The Arab countries, that's
You don't see it
very-
there either. They will chop you to bits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, but that's a very good point Juan brings up.
Aquí es un buen punto que Juan está haciendo aquí.
This Babel is not most likely the Arab nations.
Este Babilonia, quizás no es estas naciones
It's more
árabes.
the Anglicans, the Europeans, and possibly like South America.
Son
So,
más como los anglicanos y los
South America and North America.
Suramérica y Norteamérica.
The
posiblemente.
Americas more.
Los Américas,
Because those are the groups that will come against Israel in the end.
porque esos son los grupos o las naciones que van a ir en contra de Israel.
So the
al
big
final.
key here is what is on your forehead.
Así que la gran clave aquí es lo que está escrito en tu frente.
Are you like this great mother of whores
Eres como esa madre de las rameras
that we see in Revelation
que vemos
17:5,
aquí en Apocalipsis 17:5,
or are you more like Aaron was supposed to be?
o eres como lo que era Aarón
And is your life consecrated to God?
y tu vida es consagrada para el Señor.
And for all those that say we're not under the law anymore,
Y para todos aquellos que dicen que ya no estamos bajo esa ley,
well then I must ask the question, what does it mean to be consecrated?
entonces debo de hacer esta pregunta: ¿qué significa ser consagrado para Dios?
And how will you be shown different between the great mother of whores and those consecrated?
¿Y cómo vamos a ver esa diferencia entre la madre de las rameras y ser consagrado hacia el Señor, ser
Be-
separado?
Because in Revelation 75, what is the meaning of obscenities?
Porque en Apocalipsis 17:5, ¿qué es la significancia? ¿Qué significa abominación?
Okay? And you get the definition from the Old Testament.
Y obtienes esa definición del Antiguo Testamento.
You know, not other areas. You get God's definition
No en
from
otras
himself.
áreas, sino la definición de Dios, que da Dios.
All right, let's go on to slide number 15
Vamos a continuar con la página 15.
and turn to Deuteronomy 11.
Ahora vamos al libro de Deuteronomio, capítulo 11.
Deuteronomy 11, verse 16 through 19.
Deuteronomio 11, versículo 16 al 19.
Devarim 11, verse 16 through 19. Buenas nachos, Jesse and Jovi. Devarim 11, verse 16 through 19. But be careful not to let yourselves be seduced, so that you turn aside serving other gods and worshiping them. If you do, the anger of Adonai will blaze up against you. He will shut up the sky so that there will be no rain. The ground will not yield its produce, and you will quickly pass away from the good land Adonai is giving you. Therefore, you were to store up these words of mine in your heart and in all your being. Tie them as on your hand as a sign. Put them at the front of the headband around your forehead. Teach them carefully to your children, talking about them when you sit at home and when you're traveling on the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Okay? So here, there's something to be around your forehead.
Así que vemos aquí que debería de estar algo en tu frente.
And that's what you see sometimes with the Jews, with that box that they put on their forehead
Y en
sometimes.
veces vemos esa cajita que se ponen los judíos cuando oran, el llamado tefilín.
Yeah, okay, the tefillin. So, it's the word of God that's inside that box.
Es la palabra de Dios que está dentro de esa caja.
But look at verse 16.
Pero miren el versículo 16.
But be careful not to let yourselves be seduced, so that you turn aside, serving other gods and worshiping them. Seduction comes slowly.
La seducción viene muy despacio, muy calladito.
Okay? So if you're doing something that Messiah did not do,
Así que si estás haciendo algo que el Mesías no hizo,
okay, or that you specifically see the disciples, the Talmudim, doing these things,
o específicamente a los discípulos, de
or
Yeshua,
that you don't see them doing,
o que no miras que ellos están haciendo,
then you are being seduced.
entonces tú estás siendo engañado.
So if you are doing a holiday
Así que si tú estás siguiendo un holiday
that you can't find in the Bible,
donde no puedes hallarlo en la Biblia,
then you are being seduced.
entonces tú estás siendo engañado.
Well, it means this to me. I don't care what it means.
Oh,
to you.
significa esto para mí.
It doesn't matter what it means to you.
No importa lo que signifique para ti,
It matters what it means to God.
sino significa qué es lo que significa para Dios.
That's what people forget.
Eso es lo que la gente se olvida.
You know, when we were discussing Christmas trees
Cuando estábamos teniendo el discurso sobre
You know,
los árboles de Navidad
back in December,
en diciembre,
and you get a lot of those Christians like, well, it doesn't mean that to me.
tenemos a muchos cristianos que dicen, no significa eso para mí.
What does it mean to God?
¿Qué es lo que significa para Dios?
Because your opinion really doesn't matter.
Porque tu opinión de verasmente no tiene valor.
We're not going to vote on a budget in heaven.
No vamos a estar votando en el cielo.
There will be no budgets in heaven.
No va a haber votos en el cielo,
Okay?
sino
So
para
I got to go to the
el
bathroom.
sistema.
Rabbi,
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question about that. How does God feel about wedding anniversaries? And that might sound like a dumb question, but I mean, I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing.
There, if
I mean, is it a day that we should honor and that kind of thing because of our covenant that we've made with each other?
well, here's the way to look at it.
Ok, esta es la manera para ver algo así como el matrimonio.
See, in Christendom, they have made new holidays
En el cristianismo han hecho nuevos días para celebrar,
that they say are for God,
que dicen que son para Dios,
like December 25th.
como el diciembre 25.
And they say, well, that is a day that God was born,
Y dicen que este fue el día en que nació Dios.
and that all the Christian world is celebrating that day.
Y todo el cristianismo está celebrando ese día.
Now, I ask you this question, Reina.
Ahora te hago esta pregunta, Reina.
How many people celebrated your anniversary?
¿Cuántas gentes celebraron tu aniversario?
Just me and him.
So it's not a day that the world is doing, correct?
Así que no es un día que el mundo está celebrando. Correcto.
Correct.
Okay, so there's the difference
Así que eso es la diferencia.
of that you're doing something that's special for you,
Que tú estás haciendo un día especial para ti.
and it's not something that you're commanding other people to do.
Y no es un mandamiento donde todos deberían de celebrar.
Do we see weddings in the Bible? Yes, we do.
Vemos matrimonios en la Biblia, sí los vemos.
Do we see markings of time?
Vemos
Markings of time, like the Jubilee year. this,
marcadores
uh,
del tiempo como el año de jubileo y cosas así.
Okay, so you have that.
Así que tenemos eso.
But when it comes to marking what we're calling a holy day,
Pero cuando llamamos un día santo,
then I think you cross the line there.
entonces has cruzado esa línea.
Because like, as I was saying earlier,
Como he dicho antes,
like we during the month of December,
durante el mes de diciembre
we had a couple of conversations with people about Christmas trees.
tuve una conversación con varias gentes sobre el árbol de Navidad
And we showed them Jeremiah 10.
y les enseñamos Jeremías 10.
And the person's reply is always this.
Y la respuesta de toda persona es esto.
Well, it doesn't mean that to me.
Eso no significa eso para mí.
Then why are you doing it?
Entonces, ¿por qué lo haces?
And calling it something towards God.
Y llamándole algo como si fuera ofrenda hacia Dios.
Your wedding anniversary, are you calling it something to God?
Tu aniversario de matrimonio, I'm sorry,
Are you calling it something to God?
estás llamando esto algo para Dios.
Or are you recommitting yourselves to a vow before the Lord?
O estás haciendo como renovando tu voto hacia Dios.
Yes.
What'd you say, Raina?
I said yes.
Okay. So there's where I see the difference between the two.
Ahí es donde yo miro la diferencia entre los dos.
Okay,
And
thank you.
okay.
Yeah.
Rabbi,
Go ahead, Julio.
yes, I have a question. Why is wrong to wear the tefillin to pray? Why, if I hear in Devarim says say something like that, like you have to put in your front and your forehead something in your hand. Why is wrong to wear that?
It is not wrong to wear it,
Ok, no es malo para hacer esto,
but it is wrong to say that you have to wear just those.
pero es malo solo decir que solo eso te puedes poner.
Like that box that has the whole leather straps around it, and only wear those.
Como esa caja que se ponen los judíos que tiene el cordón donde se amarra en la cabeza.
Like there is no description of the tefillin.
No hay descripción de lo que los judíos llaman el tefillin.
Okay, you can wear the tefillin during morning and evening prayers.
Sí puedes ponerte el tefillin durante tus oraciones de la mañana y del atardecer.
Or then there's a whole argument that it says you're supposed to wear them all the time.
O
The
también-
Karaites say that you're supposed to wear them all the time.
O también hay un discurso como los Karahites, los judíos Karahites hacen ese,
Just a
tienen,
sec.
ok, se lo ponen todos los días.
So if you want to wear the tefillin, absolutely, it says it right here.
Así que si te quieres poner el tefillin, lo puedes hacer.
I happen to lose mine, and I don't have $300 to go get another set.
Yo perdí el mío y no tengo $300 para comprarme otro.
I left them behind when we moved out of my wife's family's house, and not all of us Jews are rich.
Los dejé cuando estábamos con mi esposa. So, Rabbi, does that little box have
Deuteronomy.
It has Deuteronomy.
Some
Which one?
you
6:4
can get,
or-
you can go. There's two types you can get. I've found.
Okay, so hay dos tipos de tefillin.
Some have Deuteronomy.
Unos tienen the whole book of Deuteronomy.
No,
Or
the
6:4.
yeah,
Shema Israel.
The Shema.
Okay. Hay unos tefillin que tienen el Deuteronomio 6:4 escrito
And some have the Ten Commandments,
y varios tienen los 10 mandamientos,
which both are extraordinary.
que los dos son extraordinarios.
But to answer your question, Julio, absolutely. But you can put, if you're looking at the screen, you can make
But-
this your tefillin.
Pero si estás viendo la pantalla, Julio, puedes hacer esto tu, tu tefillin.
It has to have scripture in it,
Pero tiene que tener la escritura dentro.
so it can't just be the mouse
Así que no puede ser el
unless it has
mouse.
scripture in it. The battery compartment. So absolutely, the tefillin is in two, or I think it's in 3 places.
Así que el tefillin es encontrado
I think it's in Numbers.
en tres lugares.
Okay, but to have a set of that, it has to be that box, and it has to be tied around 7 times, and around the middle finger.
Pero todo eso de que se tiene que amarrar en tus brazos y en tus dedos y todo eso,
Because once again,
porque una vez más
there is difference between Sephardic and Ashkenazi and how
I-
they tie them.
hay mucha diferencia entre los sefardim y los
The
ashkenazim.
Sephardic do the middle finger and I think 9 times around the arm,
Y los sefardim, los sefarditas se ponen el cordón, la cuerda en el medio del dedo y se lo amarran 9 veces en el
and the box
brazo.
has to end up on your bicep.
Y la caja tiene que quedar aquí en tu músculo, el bíceps.
The Ashkenazi, I believe, only has 7, and you don't have to do the middle finger.
Y el ashkenazi se lo amarran 7 veces.
But it doesn't say in Scripture how to put it on.
Pero no dice, no está escrito en las escrituras.
It just
¿Cómo te lo
says,
deberías de
put
poner?
them around a headband around your forehead.
Solamente póntelos aquí en tu frente.
So definitely Scripture is perfect. So yes, wear them.
Así que definitivamente la escritura es perfecta, así que sí, si te los quieres poner, sí.
Does that answer your question, Julio?
Yes,
Respondió.
Popeye, thank you very much. I didn't know that. That's new for that's new for me. But I don't know if I'm going to wear that. But it's very nice to learn something new. That's new to me. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Baruch Hashem.
Amén.
All right, so no, the ones that are sold now is a box, Eduardo,
Los que se venden ahora son cajas, Eduardo,
but it doesn't have to be a box.
pero no necesariamente tiene que ser una caja.
What it's saying here, if we turn our attention to Devarim 11:18,
Si podemos tomar nota aquí en Deuteronomio 11:18.
therefore you are to store up these words of mine in your heart and in all your being. Tie them with them on your hand as a sign. Put them on the front of a headband around your head. Okay? The only ones that I've seen the tefillin are that box.
Los que he visto solamente son esas cajas,
Okay? Which is leather.
que son de...
Leather. Anybody leather?
Piel. Cuero.
Piel, cuero.
Cuero.
Okay.
Okay? So, but it never says what the shape or how the headband is made.
Pero no dice la forma o cómo es hecha.
I mean, if you really want to push it a little bit,
Digo, si quieres enterarte un poco,
how many other headbands do we see in Scripture?
¿cuántas otras fronteras frontales vemos en las escrituras?
Is only one.
Solamente una.
Aaron's headband.
El frontal de Aarón.
So if you want to really push it, then I would go with that.
Si quieres de verasmente enterarte un poco más, yo haría eso.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Kadosh Adonai.
those are the only references that we have.
Esas son las únicas referencias que tenemos.
Yeah,
And
about the box, it was me, because remember the website that you sent me for the link for the Dead Sea Scrolls. So they showed a picture of something that they call tefillin, and it was not a box. It was just a strip of leather, and in there they show that this that they found there, they show that they have like little pieces of
Paper?
let's say paper. I know it's not paper. And in there, they are written the scriptures, and each of them are folded like into little squares, and then they are covered with that leather strip, and then it forms like little boxes there, but little tiny boxes in a head, like let's say like a band. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a square. It shows on those pictures that it's a band with little like boxes of scriptures there.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely well, I just got to get this picture. Prosperity reason. Hi. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does. There is no scripture that tells us what it's supposed to look like.
Por eso digo que la escritura no nos dice cómo se debería de ver esto.
And also, Jessica's got a question here.
Okay.
It says, "Are the men the only ones to wear it on their forehead?" Yes.
Solamente los hombres deberían de poner esto en la frente. Sí.
Now the men are supposed to wear it, just like the men are only to wear. The men are the only ones that are to wear it to the tzitziot and the talit.
Los hombres deberían de ponerse esto en la frente. Son los únicos que se deberían de poner esto en la frente, como el talit o los tzitziot.
Okay. So yeah, that's Veronica makes a great point. I mean, the Karahites have a whole another way of doing things.
Como estaba diciendo Verónica, que los Karahites tienen otra manera de hacer cosas.
Los caraitas.
Caraitas, ok. ¿Caraitas?
Sí, caraitas.
Ok.
Okay. So that's why we go directly with what the Word of God says.
Así que por eso hacemos lo que dice la palabra de Dios.
And then if you have to go into the Hebrew
Y si tienes que investigar más en el hebreo
to get a deeper, profound meaning,
para obtener esa profundez del hebreo,
and to finish up with the Tefillim discussion
y
here.
para terminar el discurso aquí sobre el tefilim,
You know, when Jehovah gave us the tabernacle, the Mishkan,
cuando Jehová nos dio el tabernáculo,
He told us how big to make it, right?
Él nos dijo qué tan grande debería de ser
How big to make each panel.
y qué tan grande hacer toda la pared,
When He told us how to make the Ark of the Covenant,
o el arca del pacto,
how tall to make it, how to look.
qué tan alto debería de ser y qué forma debería de tener.
Now, with the Tefillim, He doesn't say what it's supposed to look like.
Con el tefilim no está escrito exacto lo que debería de ser,
Or how long to wear it.
o qué tanto tiempo debería de uno ponerse esto.
So, I would say in Devarim 11:19 here,
Así que yo diría en Deuteronomio 11, versículo 19,
when you're teaching your children or when you're doing the Shema,
cuando estás enseñando a tus hijos o cuando estás haciendo el Shema,
this is when you're when you're doing the Shema is when you wear your tefillin, when you do the prayers in the morning and the evening.
cuando haces tus oraciones, se debería de poner cuando haces tus oraciones en la mañana o en la atardecer,
Because it says when you lie down and when you get up.
porque dice cuando te levantes y cuando te acuestes,
And that's the reason I say that.
y esa es la razón por qué digo eso.
All right, moving on
Ok, continuando.
to Revelation. We're moving on to slide number 16.
Vamos a la página 16 ahora.
And we're on Revelation 17, verse 6 through 8.
Y estamos en Apocalipsis 17, versículos 6 al 8.
Revelation 17, verse 6 through 8. I saw the woman drunk from the blood of God's people That is from the blood of the people who testify about Yeshua. On seeing her, I was altogether astounded. Then the angel said to me, why are you astounded? I will tell you the hidden meaning of the woman and of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that was carrying her. The beast you saw was once was, now is not, and will come up from the abyss. But it is on its way to destruction. The people living on the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life since the founding of the world, will be astounded to see the beast that once was, now is not, but is to appear. All right, so if we look back at verse 6,
Si vamos al versículo 6,
I saw the woman drunk with the blood of God's people, that is, from the blood of people who testify about Yeshua. On seeing her, I was all astounded. I was altogether astounded. Okay, this will set aside anybody who believes in the rapture.
esto, I'm sorry, say it again.
This will set aside anybody who believes in the rapture, that it is a wrong theory.
Ok, esto va a separar a aquellos que creen en en esa teoría del rapto, que es algo malo, no es una teoría buena,
Because these people are testifying about Yeshua.
porque esta gente está testificando sobre Yeshua.
So that means they're believers.
Así que eso significa que son creyentes.
That means they're proclaiming Messiah.
Entonces ellos han proclamado al Señor.
That means they haven't been raptured.
Esto significa que no han sido raptados.
Okay? And this is in the New Testament.
Y esto es en el Nuevo Testamento.
So those who say that, the covenant of Israel is gone,
Así que aquellos que dicen que ese pacto de Israel
which
ya no
lots of these
existe,
rapture people are like that.
que muchas gentes, pueblo que creen esa teoría de rapto.
So here it says about God's people.
Así que aquí dice el pueblo de Dios.
So that must be the church.
Así que eso significaría que sería la iglesia,
And I
¿no?
guess you're here because you're getting your butts kicked.
Entonces esto significa que estás aquí porque nos están dando en el trasero.
Okay? So that'll just help for people to about the rapture, okay?
Así que esto sería otra cosa para esas gentes que creen en el rapto.
And now we're going to focus on verse 8.
Ahora vamos a ver el versículo 8.
The beast you saw once was, now is not, and will come up from the abyss, but it is on its way to destruction. The people living on earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life since the founding of the world, will be astounded to see the beast that once was, now is not, but is to appear. So let's focus on this book of life.
Así que vamos a enfocarnos en este libro de la vida.
Is this the first time that we see the book of life?
¿Es esto aquí la única vez que vemos ese libro de la
You
vida?
know, many Jews will say, oh, that book of life thing, that's Christian.
Ese libro de la vida es algo cristiano.
So is it Christian or is it something from the Tanakh?
¿Esto es una creencia cristiana o es
Old
algo que
Testament.
viene del Antiguo Testamento?
Let's go see. Let's see. Let's see. Anybody on the net, hit escape for a second, and let's see if you know where it is, where this book of life is. Tristan is saying the Psalms. What about you, Britster, or Evelyn, or Will, or Julio? Where is this book of life?
Problems, maybe.
Is it in John?
Lo tengo en la punta de la lengua, pero no me puedo acordar en estos momentos.
Julio says he's got it on the tip of the tongue, but
No, we got to look for the Old Testament there, Miss Raina. All right. Let's see here. Jessica's typing. Eduardo's saying Genesis, Bereshit. Let's see. Jessica's writing a novel. What do you say, Ruth 1:16? Where might this book of life be found? What about you, Ellen? Where's this book of life? Evelyn, are you there? Or have you fallen asleep?
I don't know. The
All right, let's go to slide 17.
Ok, vamos a la página 17.
Well, we're first going to focus on, we're going to keep that question on the back burner for a moment.
Ok, vamos a mantener esa pregunta aquí.
We're going to look at the holy ones first.
Vamos a ver a los más santos.
Okay, so Daniel chapter 7, verse 21.
Daniel, capítulo 7, versículo 21 al 20.
No, we're not doing all the verses, so
Oh,
we're just
okay.
just doing 21.
Ok, versículo 21 solamente.
Dan 7, verse 21. Popcorn. For those at Bible study, popcorn is being served. I watched, and that horn made war with the holy ones and was winning. So here is a reference from Revelation
Aquí es la referencia, encontramos esa referencia
that ties together with Revelation 17, verse 6.
que va con Revelación o Apocalipsis 17:6.
Uh-huh. And then skip down to verse 25 and 26 of
Ahora,
Daniel.
ahora vamos a ver Daniel 7, 25 al 26.
He will speak words against the Most High and try to exhaust the holy ones of the Most High. He will attempt to alter the seasons and the law, and the holy ones will be handed over to him for a time, times, and a half a time. When the court goes into session, he will be stripped of his rulership, which will be consumed and completely destroyed. So those two verses tie together with the holy ones,
Así que estos dos versos van mano a mano con Apocalipsis,
that God has not broken his covenant.
que Dios no ha quebrado su pacto.
So the ones he's talking about in Revelation 17 are the Jews and the believers.
Así que vemos aquí esa referencia con Apocalipsis 17, versículo 6, que está hablando de judíos y también los creyentes.
And we are getting our butts kicked because we've forgotten the Torah of our God.
Y nosotros nos está dando una buena paliza, estamos recibiendo una buena paliza porque hemos olvidado el Torah.
Uh-huh. And you see in 7:26
Y aquí podemos ver que en Daniel 7:26
that Satan does get his rulership stripped away from him and he
Vemos-
is destroyed.
vemos que se le quita el poder a Satanás y es completamente destruido.
Okay? Now let's go to slide number 18
Ahora vamos a la página 18 otra vez
and let's reread verse 8 again.
y vamos a leer de nuevo el versículo 8, capítulo 17.
Okay? We're going to look at this book of life again. The beast you saw once was, now is not, and will come up from the abyss. But it is on its way to destruction. The people living on earth whose names have not been written in the book of life since the founding of the world will be astounded to see the beast that once was, now is not, but is to appear. So let's go see what the
Sí.
book of life is.
Así que vamos a ver el libro de la vida.
Tristan is saying he found it in Shemot, Exodus. Let's turn to Shemot, chapter 32.
Así que vamos al libro de Éxodo, capítulo 32, versículo 30 al 33.
Exodus 32, verse 30 through 33. It is in the Torah. This book of life is in the Torah.
Que lo podemos encontrar aquí en el Torah.
Shemot 32, verse 30 through 33. It says, the next day Moshe said to the people, you have committed a terrible sin. Now I will go up to Adonai. Maybe I will be able to atone for your sin. Moshe went back to Adonai and said, please, these people have committed a terrible sin. They have made themselves a god out of gold. Now, if you will just forgive their sin, but if you won't, then I beg you, blot me out of your book, which you have written. Adonai answered Moshe, those who have sinned against me are the ones I will blot out of my book. So I guess if you're blotted out of the book, you have gotten blotted out of the book of life.
Aquí si no te encuentras en el libro de la vida, entonces I'm sorry.
The book of life. You've
Sí.
gotten your life blotted out of the the libro de vida.
Así que si tu nombre no está encontrado aquí en el libro de la vida,
Okay, so there you see in verse 33 the book of life.
así que podemos ver aquí en el versículo 33 el libro de la vida.
But the other side note in verse 30
Pero otra cosa para tomar en cuenta aquí
is you see the servant of the Lord
es que vemos al sirviente del Señor.
interceding for the people and their sins.
Él está intercediendo por el pueblo y por sus pecados.
Sounds a little bit like the New Testament.
Esto suena como el Nuevo Testamento.
The Son of the Lord interceding for the sins of the people.
El Hijo de Dios intercediendo por el pueblo de Dios.
Okay, so there we have the book of life.
Así que vemos aquí el libro de la vida.
Now let's go to Revelation 17, verse 9.
Ahora vamos al libro de Apocalipsis otra vez, versículo 9, en el mismo
Revelation
capítulo.
17, verse 9.
17:9.
See, if you come to Bible study, you get popcorn. Revelation 17, verse 9. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman is sitting. Also, they are 7 kings. Okay, we're not going to get heavily into some theologies and different things like that.
No vamos a entrar en diferentes teorías y otras cosas así. No vamos a entrar en gran detalle.
Because there are 2 pretty viable schools of thought out there right now.
Porque hay dos escuelas de pensamiento sobre este tema.
Let us look at slide 21.
Vamos a la página 21 en sus pantallas.
I'm going to go with the one school of thought for this evening, for this study.
Voy a ir sobre este pensamiento para nuestro estudio esta tarde.
Since when the book of Revelation was being written
Como el libro de Apocalipsis estaba siendo escrito
through the angel that was showing Yochanan,
del ángel que le estaba enseñando a Juan,
there was a place where there was a capital
que había un lugar donde había una capital,
that was the city, the place is Rome.
que la ciudad es en Roma.
And in that picture there you see the 7 hills of Rome.
Y podemos ver aquí las 7 montes de Roma.
Okay, you see, and the Catholic Encyclopedia also states,
Y aquí en la enciclopedia también cita
it is within the city of Rome,
que es dentro de la ciudad de Roma,
called the city of 7 hills,
llamada la ciudad de 7 montañas,
that the entire area of the Vatican's state power is now confined.
donde se encuentra el poder del Vaticano.
Okay, so you have the 7 hills that you see there,
Así que tenemos esas 7 montañas.
and there's a whole other group of people that don't believe that the Catholics are, or Rome is the seat of this evil.
Y hay otro grupo que no tiene ese mismo pensamiento, que la ciudad aquí en Roma son los malvados.
And they point that Rio de Janeiro is a city that sits on 7 hills.
Otros dicen que Río de Janeiro es otra ciudad que está hecha sobre 7 montañas. También es una ciudad.
It gives some validity because Rio de Janeiro is a bunch of abominable people.
Pues quizás puedan tener buena razón porque Río de Janeiro se encuentran muchas abominaciones ahí.
I mean, before I was a believer, as a secular man, I always wanted to go to Carnival in Rio de Janeiro.
Cuando era un hombre secular siempre quería ir a carnaval ahí en Río de Janeiro.
Okay, that was just decadence on its highest level.
Porque es algo abominable en un muy alto nivel.
It made Mardi Gras look like nothing.
Hacía ser Mardi Gras que pasa en Nueva Orleans
All right, so
parecer como nada.
I tend to slide more to the Vatican since it was around not the Vatican was around, but Rome was around when Revelation was being written.
Pero aquí podemos ver que Roma estaba, era una ciudad establecida cuando el libro de Apocalipsis estaba escrito.
Okay,
se estaba escribiendo.
go to yeah, Julio's got the martini glass and dancing and okay. Let's go to slide 23. You got to skip a slide. I forgot to take one out. Slide number 23, Revelation 17.
Vamos a la página 23, Apocalipsis 17, versículo 12 al 14.
And we're going to look at verse 12 through 14.
Ahora vamos a ver el versículo 12 al
It's
14.
even Tex-Mex popcorn.
Mm.
Yeah, we're going to do that tonight. Revelation 17, verse 12 through 14. Is 8:22.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get through we're going to finish this chapter tonight. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet begun to rule, but they receive power as kings for 1 hour. Along with the beast, they have one mind, and they hand over their power and authority to the beast. They will go to war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will defeat them because he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and those who are called, chosen, and faithful will overcome along with him. So we're going to focus on 1 hour and one mind.
Okay, vamos a enfocarnos en la parte de la escritura donde está escrito una hora y una mente.
So when we look at this 1 hour and the thing, you can take it a couple of different ways.
Así que cuando vemos una hora y una mente, podemos tomarlo de varias maneras.
Because in the Daniel reference,
Porque en la referencia de Daniel
we have the week, which is 7 years.
tenemos la semana que se refiere a 7 años.
So each day represents 1 year.
Así que cada día representa un año.
Okay? With that type of thought process,
Con ese tipo de pensamiento,
then each day
entonces cada día
is 1 year,
es un año,
each hour should be 1 month.
una hora sería un mes.
With that type of thought process, it's possible.
Con ese tipo de pensamiento que sería posible.
Okay? Then you tie that together, that this process where the beast has begun to reign,
Y luego interlazas esto con eso de la bestia que empieza a reinar.
then you have the 1 hour and the one mind.
Y tienes la una hora y una mente.
One thing that even in the Messianic body we don't have.
O una cosa que hasta en la comunidad mesiánica que no tenemos.
I mean, I did some emailing today,
Hice varios correos electrónicos
and I was
ahora
promoting the Messianic homeschool.
y estaba promocionando la escuela
You know,
mesiánica.
join our morning devotional,
Que inscríbanse al devocional.
join our chess club.
Inscríbanse con el chess club que
And I-
tenemos, el de ajedrez, el
and I-
club de ajedrez.
I get an email back from a Messianic rabbi
Y recibo un correo electrónico de un rabino mesiánico
who says, I don't want to receive your emails anymore.
que dice, ya no quiero recibir tus correos.
I don't have any homeschool. We don't homeschool.
Nosotros no tenemos escolar en la casa.
So I
escuela en
replied
la
to the
casa.
gentleman.
Así que le respondí al caballero
I said, well, maybe you should, might know some people that do homeschool and let them know about it.
y le dije, quizás conoces a varias personas que hacen eso.
So he replies, let them go search the web themselves.
Así que él responde que dejen y que ellos hagan la búsqueda ellos sí mismos.
This is how fractured we are
Y así es como estamos ahorita muy fracturados
compared to what we see here with Satan.
en comparación aquí con lo que vemos con Satanás.
Yeshua said, Father, make them as one as you and I are one.
Yeshua dijo, hazlos de una mente como yo y tú somos de una mente.
And the only time we see them getting together as one is when Satan gets together with his minions.
Y la única vez que vemos esto es cuando Satanás se pone de acuerdo con sus aquí con sus otros demonios.
I find that fascinating.
Y
All right, move on
hallo
to slide,
esto muy fascinante.
slide 2024.
Ahora vamos a la página 24.
Rabbi? Rabbi?
¿Qué?
I'm just curious. You said it's like it's a possibility or there is some might be teaching that you say maybe one day is 1 year. Do you think that maybe that's why some people think in the creation in Bereshit, people said that God create everything in 7 years, things like that? It can be right? Because you teach us that this thing, 1 day is 1 day.
That is correct, but in the Daniel scripture that I'm referencing,
Pero en la escritura que me estoy refiriendo aquí en Daniel,
the wording, the Hebrew word is different.
la palabra que está
okay.
escrita en hebrea es diferente.
Remember when we did the message about salvation is your name?
Acuérdense cuando
Yep.
dice el mensaje de salvación es tu nombre,
But the English word and in the Spanish,
pero la palabra en inglés y en el español,
sometimes when it says salvation,
en veces cuando dice salvación,
it says Yeshua,
dice Yeshua
and sometimes it says Yesha.
y en veces dice Yesha.
But the word is similar in its meaning in the
Pero-
word that means salvation.
Pero la palabra es algo similar de acuerdo con esa palabra salvación.
Yesha means deliverance,
Yesha significa
liberación,
liberación
and salvación, and salvation.
y salvación.
Yeshua means salvation
Y Yeshua significa salvación
and deliverance.
y liberación.
So you see how it's close, but not the same.
Así que podemos ver que es muy cercano, pero es algo diferente.
That's the same.
Rabbi,
Un momento, por favor. That's why in the Daniel reference,
Por eso en la escritura de Daniel,
in the context of what you're
en
reading,
el contexto en cual estás leyendo,
it says it's a week of years.
así que es una semana de años.
And you will find some other things in there like the Shemitah for 7 years.
Y puedes encontrar ahí donde está escrito el Shemitah, que es 7 años.
Okay, so that's why in the beginning in Bereshit,
Es por eso que cuando dice en el comienzo, en
The-
Bereshit,
the word there is Yom,
la palabra que está escrita ahí es Yom,
day,
es día,
not what it says in the Daniel scripture.
no lo que dice en la escritura de Daniel.
Claro, mi hijo.
Yes, thank you. I didn't hear that part when you said, in Daniel, the Hebrew meaning is different. Thank you.
No problema, mi hijo. Julio, mi hijo, tú.
yeah. Rabbi, how many times the word Yeshua appears in the Tanakh?
Un momento, por favor. It'll be 3, 4, 4, 4. 82 times.
Okay, 82 times, but not even one says Yahshua. It's Yeshua, right?
The proper pronunciation of the word is Yeshua. It is Yod,
Yes.
Shin, Vav, Ayin. Yeshua.
So-
Not Yahuwah, Yazdazzle. It's sort of like me calling you Julio.
I know, Rabbi. So that's a very good argument to those who like to pronounce Yahshua. See, if I pronounce it like that in the wrong way, it's like I erase all the time Yeshua appeared in Tanakh. So the real and the properly way to pronounce it is Yeshua.
Claro. Yes, it is Yeshua. When you're talking with these sacred name people,
Cuando estás hablando con estos nombres que pronuncian los nombres sagrados,
the first question I would get to
la primera pregunta que yo me dirigía,
is, do you follow Torah?
¿tú sigues el Torah?
Do you keep the Shabbat?
¿Mantienes el día de reposo?
Do you keep the Moedim, the holy days?
¿Mantienes los días santos?
Before we get into, you want to say Yeshua, Yahuwah, the first part is, do you think we still have to follow Torah?
Antes de llegar a Yahuwah o Yeshua, ¿tú piensas que deberíamos de seguir el Torah?
That's where your discussions should focus around.
Y ahí es donde tu discurso debería de centralizarse,
Because Beth Goyim, we teach that we have to keep the Torah.
porque en Bet Goyim enseñamos que deberíamos de mantener el Torah.
Now, if you want to go with different pronunciations of Hebrew,
Ahora, si quieres hacer una búsqueda de diferentes pronunciaciones de hebreo,
the other part why it's Yeshua,
la otra parte porque es Yeshua,
because when you do the Yahuwah thing,
porque cuando haces ese Yahuwah,
it makes the word 9 points.
hace la palabra solamente 9 puntos.
When you look at the word Yeshua,
Cuando miras la palabra Yeshua,
I'll show it to you up on the screen here.
aquí te lo enseñaré en la pantalla.
You have the Yod is 1 point,
Tienes el Yod, que es un punto,
the Shin is 3 points,
el Shin, que es 3
so
puntos,
1 plus 3 is 4.
así que 1 más 3 son 4.
The Vav is 5, the 5th point,
El Vav es el punto número 5
and the Ayin is 2 points.
y el Ayin es 2 puntos.
So that's a total of 7.
Así que es un total de 7 puntos.
And that is also when Yeshua says, He is in the light in the midst of the candlesticks, the
Y
menorahs.
cuando Yeshua, mencionamos que Yeshua es el punto central de la menora,
Okay?
la
So,
luz del centro.
so 7 is the number of perfection in Hebrew.
Así que el 7 es el número de la perfección
When you get into
en
this,
hebreo.
if you get into this Yahuwah thing, it changes everything around. It doesn't fit to the perfection.
Así que cuando entras a ese discurso de Yahuwah, elimina todo eso de la perfección y todo eso.
Okay? All right. Let's go back to Revelation.
Ok, vamos a
We're going to finish this chapter tonight.
Apocalipsis.
All right. Let's reread Revelation 17,
Vamos a leer de nuevo Apocalipsis
verse
17,
12 through 14.
versículos 12 al 14.
The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet begun to rule, but they receive power as kings for 1 hour, along with the beast. They have one mind, and they hand over their power and authority to the beast. They will go to war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will defeat them because he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And those who are called, chosen, and faithful will overcome along with him. Okay, so we're tying together the 1 hour and the one mind.
Ok, so estamos poniendo mano en mano con esa 1 hora y una mente.
Okay, now let's go to slide number 24.
Ahora vamos a la página 24.
We will read Daniel chapter 4,
Vamos a leer Daniel capítulo 4,
verse 24 through 34.
versículo 24 al 34.
Daniel chapter 4, verse 24 through 34. This is the interpretation, Your Majesty, and is the decree of the Most High that has come upon my Lord the King. You were driven from human society to live with the wild animals. You will be made to eat grass, like an ox, and be drenched with dew from the sky as 7 seasons pass over you, until you learn that the Most High rules in the human kingdom and gives it to whomever he pleases. But since it was ordered to leave the stump of the tree with its roots, your kingdom will be kept for you until you have learned that heaven rules everything. Amen. Therefore, your majesty, please don't eat the chocolate. Please take my advice. Break with your sins by replacing them with acts of charity, and break with your crimes by showing mercy to the poor. This may extend the time of your prosperity. All this happened to King Nebuchadnezzar. 12 months later, as he was walking on the roof of the royal palace of Babel, the king said, Babel the Great, I built it as a royal residence by my power and force to enhance the glory of my majesty. No sooner had the king spoken these words when the voice came down from heaven, King Nebuchadnezzar, these words are for you. The kingdom has left you. You will be driven from human society to live with the wild animals. You will be made to eat grass like an ox and be drenched with dew from the sky as 7 seasons pass over you until you learn that the Most High rules in the human kingdom and gives it to whomever he pleases. Within the hour, the word was fulfilled. Nebuchadnezzar was driven from human society. He ate grass like an ox, and his body was drenched with dew from the sky until his hair had grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails were like birds' claws. Yuck. When this period was over, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted my eyes towards heaven, and my understanding came back to me. I blessed the Most High. I praised and gave honor to him who lives forever, for his rulership is everlasting. His kingdom endures through all generation. Okay? The word here for hour
La palabra aquí para nuestro
is sha'ah.
es la palabra sha'ah.
Okay? S-H-A-A-H.
S-H-A-A-H.
This comes from actually the root word
Esto aquí, la palabra, la raíz,
that means a single hour.
significa solamente una hora.
So if you look at the Revelation passage,
Así que si miras esa escritura
And-
en Apocalipsis
and tied with this, it could be just 1 hour.
y miras esto,
Yeah, go ahead.
quizás significaría una hora, pero Tristan tiene la palabra en griego
Okay.
también para.
So the Greek word is ora. Ora.
That's what it is in Revelation.
It's the Revelation 17 is a day, an hour.
La palabra en Apocalipsis es un día, one day,
Uh-huh.
un día
Or an hour.
o una hora
A season.
o una temporada.
Okay. So if you tie together the Greek word
Así que si interlazamos esa palabra en griego
with Daniel 4 verse 32,
y ponemos esa palabra junta con la que
32.
encontramos en
32.
32,
you have 7 seasons will pass over you,
tenemos 7 temporadas o 7 tiempos, como está escrito aquí
which
en
ties
la
together
Biblia,
with the week of years.
que va mano en mano con ese tiempo de 7 años.
Okay? Remember, there's no chapters in a scroll.
Acuérdense que no hay capítulos en un rollo,
There's no verses in a scroll.
no hay versículos en un rollo.
You read it as a body of work.
Lo lees como un trabajo, solamente un trabajo.
Man, I hope for the people who are living in this time period, hopefully it's not us.
O sea,
I hope for the people living in this time period
mi
hope for people living in the future
mi esperanza para la gente que está viviendo en estos tiempos,
that it is only an hour.
que es solamente una hora,
Because you could deal with something for an hour, you know?
porque puedes estar con algo así por una hora.
Okay? But I mean, there's interpretation, but like I said,
Pero hay interpretación para esto, diferente interpretación. Well, being in a tornado for like 5 seconds could
yeah,
be
but
like
if you're
an
dead, you're
eternity.
dead. Cool, it's done.
So it could feel like, you know,
You know,
like
I don't want a
whole
tornado
season.
to last a month. You know, a tornado lasts an hour.
Si un tornado dura una hora,
That, you know, okay, you know, it's an hour.
okay, pues es una hora.
But a tornado to last a month, that, you know, after a while, you lose it, you know? All right. Moving on to the next slide, slide 26.
Ok, continuando con la página 26 aquí.
Turn to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2.
Vamos al segundo capítulo, al segundo libro de Tesalónicos.
Capítulo dos.
Tesolón. Oh,
Thessalonians.
sorry. I totally butchered that word. Tesalonicenses. Capítulo 2,
Verse 3 through
versículo
11.
3 al 11.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 through 11. Okay? Well, I'm trying to make a point here. Because this has to do with this guy, and that's in the future.
Okay, let me see. Segunda de Tesalonicenses. Let me see. Colosenses.
Month's still looking here. Betsy,
Tesalonicenses. Wow,
go
that's a
to
hard word.
Peter and make a right. No. All right. Don't let anyone deceive you in this way, for the day will not come until after the apostasy has come and the man who separates himself from Torah has been revealed, the one destined for doom. He will oppose himself to everything that people call a god or make an object of worship. He will put himself above them all, so that he will sit in the temple of God and proclaim that he himself is God. Don't you remember that when I was still with you, I used to tell you all these things? And now you know what is restraining, so that he may be revealed in his own time. For already the separation from Torah is at work secretly, but it will be secretly only until he who is restraining is out of the way. Then the one who embodies separation from Torah will be revealed, the one whom the Lord Yeshua will slay with the breath of his mouth and destroy by the glory of his coming. When this man who avoids Torah comes, the adversary will give him the power to work all kinds of false miracle signs and wonders. He will enable him to deceive in all kinds of wicked ways those who are headed for destruction, because they would not receive the love of the truth that could have saved them. This is why God is causing them to go astray, so that they will believe the lie. Sounds like a lot of what's going on in our world today.
O sea, esto suena muy de lo que está pasando hoy en nuestro mundo.
When more and more the Christian body says that, you know, something as blatant as homosexuality is okay.
Donde el cuerpo cristiano desafortunadamente dice que la homosexualidad está bien.
I mean, you can't even talk to them about kosher after that.
No les puedes ni hablar ni de kosher después de eso.
I mean, if they can't understand the simplisticness of homosexuality being an abomination,
Si ellos no pueden entender que la sexualidad, homosexualidad es una abominación,
then God is going to give you over to your lies.
entonces Dios te va a dar, las mentiras se van a apoderar de ti.
Look at verse 4.
Vamos a ver el versículo 4.
He will oppose himself to everything that people call a god or make an object of worship. He will put himself above them all, so that he will sit in the temple of God and proclaim that he himself is God. This understanding goes with Matthew 24:15,
Este entendimiento va mano en mano con Mateo 24:15.
and this understanding goes with the understanding of Hanukkah.
Y este entendimiento va con el estudio de Hanukkah.
Okay, which goes together with Antiochus Epiphanes.
Que
Antiochus
esto,
Epiphaneos.
que esto va mano en mano con Antiochus Epiphanes.
And Antiochus Epiphaneos.
Antiochus Epiphaneos.
Okay? So that ties together with the Revelation thing that we were just doing
Y
before.
así que esto va mano en mano con esa escritura de Apocalipsis.
All right? Let's go to slide 27
Rabbi, I have a question for you.
on the Thessalonians thing.
But no, it's over Babylon. When was the Tower of Babel erected? Like that they wanted to go up, like they wanted to build the monument going up to the heavens,
Early in Genesis.
early in Genesis. Now this Babylon that is talked about here, that this kingdom of Babylon that conquered, you know, Israel and was conquering all that, is that from the same people?
Area.
Those are from the same people.
Well, the world, we are all from those people.
Okay.
Well, sort of, because it goes to the flood after that. No, where's Babel? Babel is Babel. It's Babel. Babel's
it's-
before the flood. Okay, we don't know who Abraham's daughter-in-laws are.
Okay. No sabemos.
No,
Noah's.
Noah's daughter-in-laws are. Sorry.
No sabemos quiénes son las nueras de Noah,
Okay, so we don't know what their lineage is.
así que no sabemos ese linaje.
But then, you know, the world and the languages get scattered.
Pero los lenguajes se apartan
But it comes from that Middle Eastern area where
Pero-
the cradle
pero-
of society
pero
began.
van de esa sociedad del Medio Oriente. Well,
But the word, the key here is the word Babel means confusion.
pero la palabra aquí, Babel, significa
Confusion.
confuso.
Okay?
Okay.
So this evil one from Babel is confusing the people
Así que este hombre de Babel está confundiendo a la gente
because they follow after this leader,
porque ellos siguen ese líder,
a king,
ese rey,
instead of the King of Kings
en vez del rey de
and the
reyes
Torah that's inside you.
y el Torah que está dentro de ti. Well, my question is, are there any similarities with there? Because with Babylon, they wanted to erect an empire or make a powerful empire that I guess could reach up to even the heavens.
Well, they said they
And-
would reach to heaven.
And this empire here, that where you say that it's of one mind, you know, here Satan and his minions, they're building this empire that is reaching up. Could we see similarities there where God is going to like destroy it in that similar fashion, in that way, as he did with those people in that time?
Well, here, yeah, Babel comes after the flood.
Okay, Babel
Yes.
llega después de la
Genesis
inundación.
11:7. If everybody wants to turn there.
Génesis 11:7. Si
Yeah,
todos
it's
quieren.
getting a time frame mixed up there. Let's
Okay.
focus on Revelation. I think. Okay, Genesis 11:7.
Génesis 11:7.
Actually, let's go down. Let's go from verse 1,
Ujú. Vamos a
11:1
al 11, versículo 1,
through 8.
hasta Génesis 8.
Actually, 9:11.
Génesis 9.
The whole earth used the same language and the same words. It came about that as they traveled from east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and lived there. They said to one another, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them in the fire." So they had bricks for building stones and clay for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let's build ourselves a city with a tower that has its top reaching up into heaven, so that we can make a name for ourselves and not be scattered all over the earth." Adonai came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. Adonai said, "Look, the people are united. They all have a single language, and see what they're starting to do. At this rate, nothing they set out to accomplish will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse their language so that they won't understand each other." So from there, Adonai scattered them all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. For this reason, it is called Babel, confusion, because there Adonai confuse the languages of the whole earth, and from there Adonai scattered them all over the earth. So you can tie it together with Revelation.
Así que podemos interlazar eso con Apocalipsis.
There's nothing that they couldn't do.
No había nada que ellos podían hacer.
So much so that's why we're doing translation right now.
Y así es por eso que estamos haciendo la traducción.
So Satan is still wanting to win this battle.
Así que podemos ver que Satanás todavía aún quiere ganar esta batalla.
So now that Jerusalem is the center of the world,
Ahora sí que vemos que Jerusalén es el centro
and
del
once that temple
mundo.
of God is rebuilt,
Y ya cuando ese templo de Dios es construido
the
de nuevo
sacrifices begin,
y los sacrificios y las ofrendas empiezan otra vez de
then
nuevo,
Satan will want to put his image in that holy place.
entonces Satanás va a querer poner su imagen en ese lugar.
And this is, why it's important to understand your history.
Y es por eso que deberíamos de entender la historia,
Because if you look where the city is,
porque si vemos dónde está la ciudad,
Shinar, in verse 2,
la ciudad Shinar o Sinar, que está escrita en Génesis 11:2,
the ancient name for the territory later known as Babylonian and Chaldea.
que es el nombre, el territorio llamado Babilonia o Caldeo,
Right where Mr. Benajab and Saddam Hussein was.
donde se encontraba Saddam Hussein y donde se encuentra Ahmadinejad.
Because remember, the 4 rivers came out of the Gan Eden.
Porque acuérdense que los 4 ríos salían del jardín de Edén.
And now we still have the Tigris and Euphrates River
Y
there.
ahora tenemos el río Tigris y Euphrates.
Okay, so Saddam Hussein was rebuilding Babylon.
Y podíamos ver que Saddam Hussein estaba reconstruyendo Babilonia.
And he thought of himself as Nebuchadnezzar
Y,
reincarnated.
y él pensaba que era el nuevo Nebuchadnezzar.
So let's add the puzzle pieces.
Y vamos a poner las piezas del
Now you
rompecabezas
raise
aquí.
up Abinadab.
Ahora se ha levantado a otro nivel este hombre
I'm
Ahmadinejad.
just speaking off the top of my head now.
Y nomás estoy hablando sobre lo que tengo en la
And if
cabeza.
anybody wants to
realmente.
type it up on the screen, I don't recall when Saddam Hussein was hung, what year it was.
No me acuerdo cuando mandaron a la horca a Saddam Hussein. Si alguien
I don't know.
tiene el día.
Because we have the 7 seasons of Nebuchadnezzar.
Y porque tenemos esa temporada de 7 tiempos o 7 temporadas de Nebuchadnezzar.
Because remember,
Yeah.
the president, Mr. Barack Hussein Obama,
Porque acuérdense que nuestro presidente Barack Hussein Obama,
was sworn into office
él
publicly
él fue públicamente hizo su voto de la presidencia
11 years, 4 months, and 9 days after 9/11,
11 días, 9 meses y 4 días después del 11 de septiembre,
tying together the Jeremiah scripture
interlazando aquí con esa escritura de Jeremías
and Nebuchadnezzar.
y Nebuchadnezzar.
You could add a whole bunch of puzzle pieces together here.
Puedes agregarle muchos pedazos a ese rompecabezas.
Anybody know when Saddam Hussein? Come on, Brittany, didn't you jump on the
Alguien sabe.
internet real quick when Saddam Hussein was hung? All right, well, let's go back. I'm going to finish this chapter.
Ok, vamos a terminar este capítulo aquí.
All right. Revelation 17, verse 14.
Ahora vamos a Apocalipsis 17:14. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No problem. 2006. That would put a really cool exclamation point there, Will.
2006.
If Hussein was hung in 2006, 7 seasons would put us 2013. Oh,
Wow.
we have a year coming, boys and girls.
Oh boy.
Buckle
Wow.
your seatbelts on, put your trays in the upright position, put your
Yeah.
head between your knees, and kiss your tuchus goodbye.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and Mary is saying in 2006. Oh boy.
Wow. Does anybody know the date, the month or the
Now it's a season. So the
season?
season.
So
could be
the
season.
year, season could be year, years, right?
Well, it's 7. It says 7 seasons.
seasons. Okay.
Oh
Wow.
boys and girls. Oh, we gotta study this. It's gonna
Oh
be fun.
boy. Yeah.
I like watching what's gonna happen.
Wow.
Put your tray tables in an upright position.
Well, the
All right.
elections.
Revelation 17 verse 14 says,
Okay, y dice,
they will go to war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will defeat them because he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those who are called, chosen, and faithful will overcome along with him. Faithful.
fieles.
What does that mean to Jehovah?
¿Qué significa eso, la fidelidad a Jehová?
Those who are faithful will win with him.
Aquellos que son fieles a Él van a ganar con
Do
Él.
you think you're faithful to him
¿Tú crees que eres fiel a Él?
if you're a Sunday worshiper?
Si eres un adorador del domingo.
Let's turn to slide 28 and turn to Devarim 7 verse 9.
Ahora vamos a la página 28, Deuteronomio 7, versículo 9 al 12.
Deuteronomy 7 verse 9 through 12. December 30th, 2006.
December 30.
Thank you, Mary. Gracias, mi hija, Mary.
In winter.
Pray that it doesn't happen in winter. Oh, we're just turning a whole like tapestry going on here at this
Oh,
study
boy.
tonight. Wow. Boy, oh boy, Lord. In an hour. No. From this you can know. Now I know your God is indeed God, the faithful God, who keeps his covenant and extends grace to those who love him and observe his mitzvot to 1,000 generations. But he repays those who hate him to their face and destroys them. He will not be slow to deal with someone who hates him. He will repay him to his face. Therefore, you are to keep keep the mitzvot, laws, and rulings, which I'm giving you today, and obey them, because you are listening to these rulings, keeping and obeying them. Adonai your God will keep with you the covenant and mercy that he swore to your ancestors. So, what does faithfulness mean to God?
Así que, ¿qué es lo que significa la fidelidad para Dios?
Since he never changes,
Como Él nunca cambia.
he's the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Es el mismo ahora, ayer y por siempre.
Then being faithful means observing the commandments that you're responsible for.
Entonces ser fiel a Dios es observar sus mandamientos.
Are you at the hospital or going to the hospital? Don't go to the hospital. Use the oils. Get some chicken soup, Jewish penicillin.
Mm.
Okay? Rest, chicken soup. They even recently did a study on chicken soup.
Hicieron un estudio sobre la sopa de pollo.
I want you to go get a whole chicken from the supermarket.
Quiero que tengas un pollo entero del
I
supermercado.
want you to bake it. I want you to bake it.
Y quiero que lo hagas en el horno.
I want you to take the chicken and all the juice that comes out of it.
Y toma el pollo y todo el jugo que salga del pollo.
I want you to then put it in a big pot on the top of the stove
Y luego lo pones en una olla en tu estufa
and make a soup out of it.
y haces una sopa con él.
Okay? Do things naturally. You don't need to go to the hospital. You're an older person.
Haz cosas naturalmente.
Little children, maybe.
¿Okay? Con los niños a lo mejor.
People in their 80s, maybe.
Con gentes ya en su edad más grande, de los 80 a lo
Do
mejor.
the oils. Myrrh,
Ponte los aceites, mirra,
frankincense and myrrh,
incenso y mirra
and hyssop.
y el hisopo.
Put them on your finger and stick them up your nose.
Y póntelos en tu dedo y póntelo en tu nariz, dentro de tu nariz.
And rub them on your neck here,
Y póntelos aquí en tu cuello, en tu
on
pescuezo.
either side of the neck.
Aquí en el cuello, en el pescuezo.
These are the mitzvot of God. These come from the Bible.
Estos son los mandamientos de Jehová.
How do you think the priesthood would be able to go check out the lepers?
¿Cómo crees que los sacerdotes iban a ver a los que estaban enfermos,
They
los
were
lepros?
anointed with the oils.
Ellos estaban ungidos con ese aceite.
Okay, moving on to the next slide.
Ok, continuando.
Ooh, Revelation 17, verse 15 through 18.
Apocalipsis 17, versículo 15 al 18.
Jovi, wiggle your mouse. We're going to look at slide number 29.
Vamos a ver la página 29.
For Revelation 17, verse 15 through 18.
Apocalipsis 17, versículo 15 al 18.
Then he said to me, the waters that you saw where the whore is sitting are peoples, crowds, nations, and languages. As for the 10 horns that you saw and the beasts, they will hate the whore, bring her to ruin, leave her naked, eat her flesh, and consume her with fire. For God put it in their hearts to do what will fulfill his purpose. That is, to be one of one mind and give their kingdom to the beast until God's words have accomplished their intent. And the woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. So when you see somebody raising up,
Así que cuando miras a alguien que se está levantando,
that is uniting the nations,
que está uniendo a las naciones,
not the United Nations, they're just a ridiculous bunch of bobos.
no como las Naciones Unidas,
But when you see a person
pero cuando miras una persona
that really begins to unite nations from around the globe,
que está uniendo las naciones sobre todo el mundo,
that's the person you're wanting to really look at.
esa es la persona que quieres ver.
Okay? So we're going to focus here on eating flesh.
Así que vamos a enfocarnos en comer sus carnes.
Okay? So that's one thing we're not supposed to do.
Esto es algo que no deberíamos de
Even
hacer.
the flesh of the animal.
Hasta la carne del animal.
I know chicken, the crunchy skin tastes good,
Yo sé que el pollo,
especially on the barbecue.
la piel sabe muy deliciosa, especialmente
crunchy,
en el
crunchy,
barbecue.
crunchy. But no, you're not to eat that flesh.
Pero no deberías de comer esa carne.
It's not kosher
No es kosher
because it's got all the fat in it.
porque tiene toda la gordura ahí.
So let's talk about eating flesh and drinking blood.
Así que vamos a ver sobre esto de comer la carne y comer la sangre.
Turn
tomar
to
la
slide
sangre.
number 30 in Ezekiel 39.
Vayan a Ezequiel 30, página 30, Ezequiel 39, 17 al 25.
Okay, Ezekiel 39, verse 17 through 25. Ezekiel 39, verse 17 through 25. As for you, son of man, Adonai Elohim says that you are to speak to all kinds of birds and every wild animal as follows. Assemble yourselves and come gather yourselves from all around for the sacrifice I am preparing for you. A great sacrifice on the mountains of Israel, where you can eat flesh and drink blood. You will eat flesh of heroes and drink the blood of earth, princes, rams, lambs, goats, and bulls, fattened in Bashan, all of them. You will eat fat till you are gorged and drink blood till you are drunk at the sacrifice I have prepared for you. At my table you will be satisfied with horses, horsemen, heroes, and every kind of warrior, says Adonai Elohim. Thus will I display my glory among the nations, so that all the nations will see my judgment when I execute it, and my hand when I lay it on them. From that day on, the house of Israel will know that I am Adonai their God, while the Goyim will know that the house of Israel went into exile because of their guilt, because they broke faith with me. So I hid my face from them and handed them over to their adversaries, and they fell by the sword, all of them. Yes, I treated them as their uncleanliness and crimes deserve. I hid my face from them. Therefore Adonai Elohim says this: Now I will restore the fortunes of Yaakov and have compassion on the entire house of Yisrael. And I will be jealous for my holy name. Okay, in verse 17 you see eating flesh and drinking blood.
Versículo 17 vemos comer carne y beber sangre.
As we saw right before the winter,
Como veremos que era antes del invierno,
the birds that eat flesh
las aves que comen la carne
on their way to Africa they all landed in Israel first.
Cuando van a su lugar en África, llegan a Israel
And we had the pictures of that.
y tenemos esos retratos, esas fotos.
And in verse 21, all the goyim will see the judgment of the Lord.
Y el versículo 21, todas las naciones verán el juicio de el Señor,
Because he's going to gather you there so you can see his judgment.
porque Él te va a poner ahí y vas a ver
On
el
you, the
juicio
goyim.
a ti, las naciones.
And you should learn from this.
Y deberíamos de aprender de eso,
Because in verse 23,
porque en versículo
it
23,
says that Israel went into exile because of their guilt.
Israel fue a la cautiva por su pecado,
But in verse 25,
pero el versículo 25,
this will put aside any thought of replacement theology.
esto te pondrá fuera de esa teología del reemplazo.
God says, I will restore the fortunes of Yaakov.
Dios dice que les voy a
Verse 25, the middle of the sentence. 39:25.
okay, here it says, I'll have mercy on all the house of Israel. I'll restore the fortunes. Right?
Okay, well, I'm not going to go into the Hebrew at the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
Les mostraré la misericordia a la casa de Israel.
Okay, so that means there must be some alive, and didn't kill them all.
Así que
Must be some alive, and didn't kill them all.
Así que esto significa que va a haber algunos vivos y no va a matar a todos.
All right. That is the completion of chapter 17.
Así que este es el capítulo 17.
All right. So, anybody on the net have any preguntas on Skype there? Hey, Jesse, what did you think of this study? I'm going to put Jesse on the spot. Jesse Resendez, you Jew at heart.
Hold on.
Sounds like your house.
It's just a. What did you think?
What did I think?
Yes.
Well, it's always you're informative. You're handing us a lot of information here. I'm not picking up everything. I was here half of the time, but I'm trying to pick my brain here. You caught me off guard.
All right, we won't put you too much on the spot. Jovi, what do you think?
There you go.
Well, it's a lot of information, the way you compare things and all that, and like, I read a passage and then read it with you or whatever, and then you mention something that we didn't understand before, and then it kind of goes, oh, now I see, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's interesting, the way you talk about like, going to Daniel, because this is where it happened, about so I'm getting my scriptures mixed up, but anyway. It's pretty good.
Okay, we got a F.
All righty, my friends. All right, Will and Raina, another part of the country. What did y'all think?
Well, hey, our chickens are not going to be in on that flesh-eating thing, man. They only eat kosher.
But don't you like, before you were keeping kosher, didn't you like the chicken, the crunchy, skin and the barbecue sauce and good.
Oh yeah, no, that's good.
Well, so what about the study? Did you learn anything from the study?
Oh yeah, man, it's like a huge amount of information. And the time, the hour, yeah, it'd be great if it only would last an hour, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. I don't think the Lord's going to be that nice to just, as we think, only an hour. I think he's kind of angry at this point, and he's